Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mom Life Coaching. This is Kia. So I know I've been really, really busy. Sorry, guys. I had so much to do. So um, I run a nail salon too, and my husband we run a commercial cleaning business too. So we've been really, really busy. I had to move the salon into a new location. Um, so I've been busy with that, and then I've been busy with the kids. Kids are almost done with school, and sorry guys, it's been so hectic and so much going on, but we here now. Um, I know a lot of you guys. If you guys are new to the page, this is just a safe place for you guys to listen to what what life is about and what I do as a neurodivergent mother, as being a Hmong woman, all this collaboration of life. And I think it's really important to us to understand that even though we are so modern, right? So I'm so modern, and there's so many things that I've learned to be who I am. Like, just because I'm Hmong doesn't mean that I don't do this or I don't do that, or just because I'm Hmong that I don't hang out with other race. So for me, growing up, backstory, growing up, I wasn't really allowed to hang out with like other race. I remember my mom, I think I was in fifth grade. My mom got really mad at me because this African American boy wanted to go ride bike around black, right? And I didn't think anything of it. I don't see color, and I never have, and I never will. And I don't teach my kids to see color. I teach my kids to see people. So my mom got mad at me and started yelling like, "Oh,那有拜大钱，那有花钱，哎，讲有的why you hang out with a boy too, and why 假个有 hang out with itu minyo too, and on top of that, you know?" And I'm over here like confused, like what is she talking about? Like I'm so confused. And I almost feel like because we are the minority, we were actually shown more to be racist than any other people that I know. Like it's so funny to me. It's such a hypocrite. This is why I get so like when I got spiritually awoken to a lot of things, these were the things that I think back on. I'm like, that's not okay. So learning to be your authentic self, learning to be exactly who you are, having your beliefs, like what's ethical, and just going from there. And even though as young as I was, I didn't feel like that was right. Like I felt that was wrong, you know? Um, but at the time, you chỉ bảo hai lũ nè, you chỉ sợ hai lũ hết, you chỉ sợ啥的. I mean, you sợ啥嘛，但是 you 只sợ hai cho lão nè, right? And because they're always, I don't know about your guys' parents, from my parents, you couldn't say anything to them because they'll always be like, "Này em hiểu ya, này chỉ bé you này lo, này you bé na," that's what they say, right? And so you get so mad and you can't even express yourself as a kid. So knowing that today, me having kids today, I'm just over here like, well, I can't be like that to my kids. I need my kids to express how they feel and what they want and what they need. And so just relearning everything, you guys, really, I had to relearn everything. And when I relearned everything, like I said, I was really upset for them teaching me the wrong way. Teaching your benefit you to me, so there is a lot of you guys out there, and I want you guys to really, really consider some things, right? We pay y'all lo okay? Pay lo y'all lo so there's gonna be more Mika and more other race besides Bena, okay? We are like maybe not even the population of it, because bitch more 18 clan, there's not a lot of us, right? Who's gonna be more outnumbered? Yeah, Jamaica, of course. What the hell? So with that being said, even like when I talk to like other Hmong people and especially a lot of Hmong people, I don't understand. Like, we are so freaking racist. I don't understand why we are like that. We have to learn to be modern, and we have to learn. Okay, so it's fine. Like, I'm not saying like go make a big friends of like you should really be diverse. Anyways, we should all really learn how to be diverse, because if we can learn how to be diverse, we can learn to live better in our environment. Why do we have to shut people, like talk down or belittle people for being different, simply just being different, right? And especially Bechamoa, so many of Bechamoa, we are so racist. Especially the older generation, right? The older generation, like, oh, you better watch out. Okay, no. Because some of them are really actually educated. Some of them are really smart. Some of them are like well off, Like your Jean Chape, like your Jean Chape, and the reason why like Jean Chape is because bé啲chỉ sa pay cho là啲chỉ sa pay cho bé à bé啲sa lúc pay cho lờ na. So does that make us good people? No, that doesn't make us good people. That makes us bad people. And yes, we're all sinners. Of course, I understand that we're all sinners, and that's what God says, and Jesus and whatnot. But here's the thing: just because we are sinners, we need to repent, and we still need to repent for our sin, because now that you know better, you have to do better, right? And a lot of people don't want to do the work, and it's okay. Everybody's on their own journey, and not everybody needs to be awoken up to a lot of things, which is completely fine, right? But when you want to talk about race and things like that, if you guys don't know anything about it, I highly suggest that you just don't say anything about it, right? Because you don't know. Okay, so there's so many things, so many traditions, so many culture and everything. That's why sometimes it's so hard for people to live together, But honestly, like, what's it to you? What's it to you? What's it to you? What's it really to you? Why does it matter? And I'm saying this especially especially because be chỉ cho做啥呢 okay 被你只cho 做啥 here 被你只cho 做gotta share about what our kids want and what our kids need. And a lot of the older generation, this is more towards the older generation, and if you're like this, you gotta knock your shit off and get your act right. That's all I gotta say. So bitch Moa, we're so sheltered, okay? Be cho bỏ trở nên blo hồ đu sana, okay? Be cho bỏ trở nên blo hồ đa. And vice versa. It goes both ways. It really true. And it's really just to be open-minded. Like, the more open-minded you guys are, the better off you guys will be, right? So, and all my life, throughout middle school, high school, I always just stuck around to Hmong people. I always just stuck around to Hmong people. I've never really dated outside of my race until after high school, because high school, you have this stigma, this stereotype of like, oh, and you guys see it. Don't even lie to me. You guys see it. You guys when you guys were in high school, everybody got their own little group, right? The nerds were here, the preppy people were here, the goth was over here. You have a whole group of different varieties of people, okay? And it was so cult. Sorry, but I feel like high school is such a cult. Anyways, because it's like a group of people getting together and having one belief or one thought process, and it just became very culty like to me. And I just didn't really like that. That's why in high school I just want to get done with school and be done with it. I didn't want to, I don't know, I didn't want to do any of that. I came here for one thing only, And that was my mindset, you know? So I could care less about high school. I mean, I know high school really impacted other people in a good and bad way, you know, whatever. But for me, I wanted to be in and then I wanted to be out. That was my mind. That was my mindset. I didn't want to make friends. I didn't care for anybody. I just wanted in and out. That's all I wanted. That was my mindset and that was my end goal and that's all I wanted. I didn't want nothing to do with high school because it's so culty, like, you know. And you can see it too. Like you can see it everywhere. Like who's gonna go far, who wasn't gonna go far, you know, you can kind of see. But anyways, so I stuck to a lot of just Hmong people and I even felt weird. Like that was the old me. So I felt weird to even like, oh, why is Hmong people hanging out with like, you know, um those people? Why aren't you hanging out with your same group of people? You know, I always thought it was weird because that's how I was conditioned. I was conditioned to think that way, even though we're all human, you know? So yes, do I understand it now? Like I was so conditioned to just hang out with Hmong people, everything Hmong, and nothing outside of me being Hmong. Okay, so after my whole divorce, I started dating, and I started dating outside my race, right? The reason why I started dating outside of my race because honestly, like I said, I just did not like being Hmong. I hated being Hmong. I did not like to be Hmong. I don't want nothing to do with being a Hmong person. I hated my identity. I really did. Truly, truly hated my identity. And so I start exploring outside of my race. And you know, I tell you what, there was a lot of haters. You know, because just saying like I was such a disgrace. I was a disgrace for dating outside my race. I'm a disgrace. I don't know what the hell. I think just anything and everything you can think of. Like I was a disgrace. I'm, you know, bong jimo, you know, you chỉ sai tao you nè you see because you by ta people outside your race, you know, you don't think about your culture anymore. Oh, you're not even Hmong anymore. Oh, you think you're better than us, you know, all of that. I got all of that, okay? Just because I dated outside my race. And you know what's crazy? It's crazy because at the time I was in my 20s, okay? And I really took a hit by listening to what people had to say, you know, and even though it's not right, you know, it's not ethically right, and it's not even okay to say, you know, because at the end of the day, we're still human. It doesn't matter what color of our skin. It didn't matter, right? But when people plant seed in your head to make you think that, oh, they're pretty much being racist themselves. They're being racist themselves. And being so young, I couldn't grasp that, you know. Um, so I was very embarrassed. Actually, I was very, very embarrassed. Um, to and I I want to apologize to the first white guy that I ever dated. I am actually very, very sorry for a lot of things because I understand it now. Um, that it was just me because I couldn't get over the fact that that people just kept belittling me for um dating outside my race, for being human. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what these people's problem. I know what the problem is. They're just um their self-esteem. They're confident. Their self-doubt, you know? And because that's how people felt and were, and that they project that onto me, and then I start feeling some type of way even though I truly felt that that was incorrect, but I start feeling embarrassed. I start feeling some type of way. And I start thinking that maybe they are right, you know. And then as I um, learn and got older and go through my whole experience after dating my first Caucasian, like dating outside my race, right? It was it got better. Okay, and don't get me wrong, because it took me a while. It took me a while because they always say like, oh, they're gonna understand your language. They're gonna understand you better. You guys can be better compatible. All this stuff, and and you know what? I tell you what, they're not wrong. They're not wrong for saying that, but here's the thing: are you modern enough, right? Are you modern enough to be able to eat their food every day, to do what they do every day, you know? And I think back about it and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm pretty modern, right? And the only thing that I'm still pretty um Hmong-ish, I guess you would say. Well, I'm everything Hmong. To be completely fair, I'm everything Hmong. So when we met, he knew, and I told him I am this in the whole 9 yard. Okay, so if I'm this in the whole 9 yard, are you able? Are you compatible enough? Right? It's not saying that you can deal with my stuff. Yes, it is. But then in other words, like, are we compatible? Are we gonna like? Are you gonna like what I like? You know, and there's a lot of things, and people don't understand that the different diversity that we have, right? It's about compromising, you know? It's about compromising. Can you guys compromise? I don't want to eat cheeseburger every day, and he doesn't want to eat rice every day neither. So we compromise, And that's what a real relationship is. No matter what race you are, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because you still need to compromise no matter what. So it doesn't matter what race, what ethnicity you guys are. The only thing that matters is that you love each other. That you love each other so much that you're willing to compromise the difference. See, and then at a young age, I didn't have that. I didn't have somebody teaching me that, I just had people being just really brutally mean for no reason, just because I wanted to date outside my race. And they start talking, oh, well, you can't get yourself a Hmong boy. That's why you got to date outside of your race. No, no, actually, it's a choice. It's a choice that I made. I made a choice. Okay. I found, and this is just my experience. This is nobody else's experience but mine. Okay. So get it right. My experience for Hmong boys. I'm not saying all Hmong boys, okay? I'm saying some, okay? And when I speak about Americanized people, I'm not just talking about them, okay? It's gonna be a whole around thing as a human, okay? As a human. So you guys have to understand that as embarrassed as I was at the time. Like, dude, I was so embarrassed being around this guy. I don't even know why. Like, I felt so bad. I almost felt like he was a boyfriend in the closet because I wouldn't take him anywhere. And if I was to take him anywhere, like Hmong people or stuff, like I would feel so embarrassed, and I was like, I want to leave, or like you have to stay in the car. like it was bad. It was bad. I do apologize. I'm sorry that I felt this way. I shouldn't have, but I did. Okay. I was so embarrassed. We went to the Hmong store and I was so embarrassed. I didn't even want him to come into the store with me. I asked him to stay in the car. And thinking back, I'm like, damn, kid, what's wrong with you? That's so mean. Like, I'm so mean. I am so mean. That is so mean. Just because I felt so embarrassed because he was white. Like, and he was so proud of me, He was so proud and he wanted to be around me. And yeah. And that is the battle, you guys. That is the battle. When you are dating and trying new things, and when you don't have the support, and when everybody else is so like cool now 1920, when everybody still think 1920, and you're over here being so modern because you want to be different, you want to try different things, you don't want to continue the same ways and same path, so what I was trying to say earlier was like, I'm not saying that all monk boys are bad, but I realize the culture and what it is, and I don't like it, some of the tradition I love, I keep some of them, I still keep some culture, some tradition, but some of the things that I don't like, guess what, I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it. And I don't have to follow it, you know? And because I have that mindset that it really kills my parents, because I don't surrender. I don't surrender to that nonsense. Um, so a lot of our rules, so if you guys don't already know, Hmong people, if you're a girl, you ain't shit. If you're a boy, and you have a penis, you gotta be home. You're gonna be treated better. You're gonna be treated better, for one. You're not gonna have to do as much chores, for two, because you're a boy. Boys don't do chores. What the hell? You know? Or just the fact that they are more free. They're free to say and think certain things and be able to do more things. Versus big your girls, huh? Big what you down on because big you lo way to that means we are gonna get married and go and live with our husband and provide for them and all that stuff for them, you know so our parents are pretty much just grooming us to go and get married early in the life, and they don't really back then. Women stay home, guys went out, they went and provide, um lead, protect, that's all of that, right? Okay, all of that. So if you were a girl, you weren't amount to much, so like for me, I saw how my parents, they treated me, that I wasn't amount to much, and I'm very important. I treat myself very important. I treat myself very highly. Okay. I respect myself, So because what my parents were showing me and trying to condition me to the old ways, and I saw that at a young age, I didn't like that. I didn't like to be conditioned and to be submissive, to some dude. I mean, not some dude, but it could be some dude. Back then it was some dude. But I couldn't be submissive to a man. I'm not just gonna say a Hmong man, because I'm gonna say a man. Okay, I cannot be submissive to a man if we are not compatible. If you come in here and you can't lead, provide, and protect, and I'm doing my part, it's not gonna work. So for a lot of Hmong men, there are very mommy's boy. They're very mama boy. Okay, and because a lot of them are a lot of mommy's boy, I don't like that. And I'm not just saying all like it's Hmong people. I'm not saying just Hmong people. No, I'm talking about the whole nation of men. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, but at the time, I just did not like the culture. I just did not care for it. I did not like that I have to be like this for somebody who couldn't even lift a finger for me. So I feel like a lot of Hmong boys, they're so conditioned in a certain way, right? They're so conditioned in a way where like, they do like you just for themselves, right? They're emotionally intelligent. Like you just for themselves, but they gonna okay. They gonna like they chỉ just sana. They cho cái lầm lên nè luôn à, okay? Thầu thầu tu mình nhom lầm lên nè luôn á. And they chỉ just for you to king á. That's when I have a problem. Yes, I have a problem with that. I do. I do. And I'm not the only woman out here. I'm vouching for everybody. Every woman out here, I'm vouching for you guys because honestly, you asked me to marry you. You asked me. I did not ask you. You asked me, okay? Cho chồng cho luôn nè, okay? Cho chồng chỉ hay để cũng nhỏ nhỏ của lọt thâu con à, okay? Cứ lọt thọ của nè, cứ lọt thọ của nè của chỉ nè, you know? Cứ lọt bê của nè của chỉ nè, okay? Bê cho tụi con à, cứ tụi chỉ tao ít tụi lên chỉ trong à. You're not even a man, you know? So you can be a lot of guys out here, they can be fake as hell too. Like, learn it. Just walk away, learn it. Like, thọ you nè, you see, cho cái đó you lúc bắt tư nè, thọ nè, it's the girl that you know, you know. So there's that too, right? So I'm just saying, I'm not bashing on us, on you guys, Hmong boys, okay? I'm not. I truly, I'm not, because what I saw is y'all chính nó là chơi mong là nè hết là chỉ lưu hư thế là chơi hồng bia thế nào the hell those two and actually là chỉ chơi one à. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole and I'm not trying to bash on Hmong boys, honestly. I'm not. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not impressed. I'm not. I'm not impressed. Okay, you mua tí cho là you rong rong à. Okay, tất nhiên cho rong là tí mà yo ta na. Cho you nhớ tất cả na. God damn. But I'm not bashing, okay? I'm just saying this is my experience and this is what I saw, okay? But for cho Mikana, okay? Tí cho Mikana lỡ nhờ là chỉ cho lú lỡ nè. Lỡ nhờ là chỉ cho lú lỡ cho tú á, cái lỡ cho tú á, lỡ cho là hai lú lỡ cho là ôn ninh rong lỡ cho xả nè, okay? Họ bé cho mình nhỏ mong á, bé man đào ta li. Bé man đào bé quá chỉ do là bé quá chỉ do là bé man đào bé quá chỉ do bé man đào we are not higher than our parents. Ya bé was to say anything more. Ya bé mặc cường đào sư bé hãy không phải mê nó sư cái bé tìm mặc cường lo đào na. You know, you guys understand? Cú bao, you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? So, because we were conditioned so differently, okay? And this is just what I saw in my experience, okay? So, bé hoa man đào here, bé hoa mặc cường here, and that's why bé chậm tua, lỡ online here, lỡ chìm lòng lù here. You know, if you look back, just look back. Some of these people like never even finished high school. Why not? Why didn't you guys finish high school? It's because of their parents. Never ever try to push them to be better and do better, you know? And then our parents, you know, our parents, even though they were taught all these things, right? But then there's a lot of things, okay? I saw what it is, okay? Because I saw what it is, then kuchinya, thế nào? Thọ kuchinya, họ bên nhà bên chỉ kia, bên cho tu na, bên cho tu chỉ cho tu na, là bên cho tu chỉ cho you know, they don't know how to become a boy to a man. They don't know how to transform, okay? Because bên nhà bên chỉ some of the lu bé thảo na, okay? Some of us lu bé thảo à, thảo là lu bé thảo na, chỉ tích tâm nhỏ na, là chỉ cho啥na, okay? Or thảo cho they got a low condition, to pay. There's a lot of things, man. There's so much things that can go into it. But what I saw in the Hmong culture, in the Hmong community, I didn't really care for it. Okay, I just did not care for it. Okay, and it's not that kuchinya to online or kuchinya hupli, all this stuff. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's just the mindset. The mindset of tích cho khủng cú là na. Là hướng chúng bỏ trên right? Là hướng xã there. Oh, bây giờ mong mà your mong sư your our next door neighbor. Your bé từ泡tuần chai. Your bé từ泡tu tu. Your bé từ泡tu whatever, right? All this shit. But it's, you know what's crazy? It's crazy because you guys need to allow these kids to think for themselves, right? Allow them. Let them think for themselves. Because when they start thinking for themselves, this is what you get. Right here. And when I remove myself away from the community, the Hmong community, I start rebuilding myself, right? Because being Hmong isn't just who I am, okay? It's a part of who I am, okay? You know, so when I finally figure that out, right? When I finally figure out my identity and being so in sync with being two different worlds, having two different worlds. I realized that there's no right or wrong way. There's no right or wrong way how to do things and how to live your fucking life. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you do things that are ethical, right? As long as you do things with integrity. As long as you do things with good morals, okay? And you're not hurting anybody. You're not going out here killing people. You know, you're doing everything the right way. And how do you know you're doing things the right way, right? You start seeing blessings. You start seeing things. You start seeing opportunities. And all this is just glistering. It just comes all to you. That's when you are living in your divine calling. That's how you know you're living in your own path, right? So when you learn how to live like that, right? Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore, okay? It doesn't matter if you're Hmong, you're black, you're white, Hispanic. It don't matter. It don't matter no more. It don't matter who you marry, okay? It doesn't matter anymore. So stop thinking, especially with your Hmong people, stop thinking that you're Hmong, you're Zhong, okay? It's not like that, okay? You're Hmong, you're Zhong, no. No. Okay? It's not like that. It's not about that, okay? You guys have to really truly understand that it's not about that. Where your roots come from, okay? I know where my roots come from. And because when I'm happy with everything about me, understanding my roots, understanding the war, understanding what my grandparents had to go through, understanding that they had to, and I listen to a lot of these videos too. Like on YouTube, I listen to like this guy. I listen to his stories because need your stories. It talks about back in the day, long time ago. And so because you have to understand the root, okay? So when you come and you understand the root of like where your ancestors come from and how you got here, you start being appreciative. The more you're appreciative you are with life, okay? It's gonna help you. It's gonna help you the more you appreciate. Don't think bad about it. How we had to fought to be here, okay? And now we here. And now we're gonna be the racist one? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. It's crazy to me. You guys know our parents were so freaking racist. If your parents were, my parents were freaking racist. And I know they were so racist, And up until, that I actually started dating other race, that my parents finally, not a lot, just a little bit, where they're like, oh, it's okay now. It's okay. That's because everybody started to doing it. And it wasn't just their daughter doing it. It was everybody else too. And I swear to God, I tell you what, if my husband was like not white and he was like if he was African American, I'm pretty sure my mom gonna probably have a whole heart attack. She'll have a whole heart attack and probably she'll probably just die. I'm serious. She'll have a whole heart attack and died. Because not her daughter. Because if it was her daughter, because these people, they're out here, especially my parents. I don't know about your parents. My parents, right? Always these parents là sa tao jim mo sana là cho kê cho là tu king sana là tu chi kê cho you na hay để you lu tu na you lu tu na hay you lu li nó like you chi lu you bỏ xỉ na you cho bỏ hay để là yon ning sana là tu cho nó mỏ you thế này ya là tu cho nó mỏ you thế là tu mo xem mon ju you thế này chủ yếu you tu mo xem mon ju số lo ya li kana nei o actually nei na okay, that's not okay, okay nên là nó it's not okay, it's not okay. Vì thế nếu lúc xem luôn chứ nếu đi lo nhỏ cái là lúc tết cho na nếu đi lo nhỏ cái là lúc tết cho na là tu khi là lúc xem là lúc chứ là khi cái đâu bầu cho nên là khi cái đâu bầu hay là nhỏ nó bé mà ba này and did they not? Yes they did. Yes they did. They stuck to their words. They did. They stuck to their words and here we are. So why are we the one being racist, right? Why are we the one racist? It's bizarre to me how like cho nên hết gì là xả lên nó nè, yo, and tiếp theo mà nếu chỉ tao khi nên Lucia đấu bao ý là lỡ thế, là tiếp khi là Lucia đấu bao cho nên này, sao tao cơ này hay tiệt lỡ cho pay, no, actually lỡ cho rong lỡ tiếp lỡ khi là lúc tiếp cho bé là nhỏ nè, so there's truth to that too, right? But it's một tí cho nè hết gì nó, là cái hay nè, lỡ sa sa tao chưa mua xong nè, lỡ tí chỉ sa cho lỡ chọn菜, lỡ tí chỉ sa cho lỡ giật tú hay tiệt, you know, bé lỡ nhỏ lỡ lúc tí cho nó, mua mì cả chống chạ, mua mì cả đu chống chạ, mua mì chống chạ, all these people chống chạ bé hết nè, chỉ chống chạ bé nè, so what are the majority of some of us gonna be married to some of them? Think about it. Think about it. It just doesn't make sense how you guys can be like that, right? So, but you know, like I said, I was very like people bash when I first started dating my first white boy, okay? When I first started dating him, you know, I got a lot of heat. I got a lot of belittling. I got a lot of talking crap, you know? And you know, even though at the time I was like in my 20s, like you did you tell nè, lỡ xả lên đó chị, you xả thì you yell lên đó hết chị, dùng chai thế này, dùng chai thế, you chăm mò thế, you chỉ bảo xả hết này, you know? But then in my heart, you go, cứ touch tới từ like it's not for me. Like I feel like it's not for me. You know, I don't know, but I just didn't feel like it was for me. I feel like Gututsi, even though my husband now, he's white, I don't see him like that. Because I see him in our soul, you know, our soul. That's why it's called soulmate, okay? Because our soul is compatible. Our soul speaks the same language. Funny, right? Because he doesn't know Hmong, right? But we are soulmate that even though now one single word I need to say, he knows. Vice versa. You know, because it's our soul. We are connected by our soul. That's why it's called soulmate. You know, that's if you guys are looking for your soulmate, you guys can look up here, okay? You guys have to look right here in their heart, in their soul. You have to catch their soul. Like I keep saying, you guys, we're all energy, right? And we're all energy. You feel that energy. You feel it. Because like I don't know if I ever told you guys, but my husband always says to me, the first time he ever met me, very first time that he actually remembers seeing me, he said to his dad, I'm gonna marry that girl. Like, how does somebody say that, right? It's our soul. Our soul already knew each other before we met each other. That's soulmate, okay? That's what it is. That's why it's called that, okay? So, you know, like I said, even though whatever, you know, right? Each other, it will never work because our soul, they're not connected, you know? So that's why it never worked out for me. So, and you know, I have to experience all of that to actually know what I want, you know? So, and when I went through all of that, I finally realized, Like, I want somebody just like me, you know? And when I want somebody just like me, my soul was already looking and knowing, you know? That's why when we first met, we just knew. We knew, you know? I mean, he knew. I was over here like, don't say that, you know? But he knew. And, you know, for a guy, it's funny because psychology says for a guy, they're going to know right away. For a girl, it might take at least 2 years to 3 to finally know if that's our soulmate, right? Because us girls, we are built differently. And you guys know what I'm talking about. We're built differently. So because we're built differently, we have trust issue, right? And so we have trust issue. We don't know if this guy is good or not, right? So we have to kind of figure it out. But for some guys, like my husband, like who's gone through a terrible relationship, knows when he sees something good, right? Like, oh, that's the one. That's it. That's it, guys. She's it. She's awesome. I don't know, pretty much. I don't know. But that's how I feel about guys. Because guys, they just know. Girls, we know, but we're like so caution. And that's where it kind of, it fucks us too. Because we're so caution and we have trust issue. And then all this stuff. And we're like, oh, we don't know. But then, you know, some guys, like my husband, he just knew right away, which is awesome for him. You know, I love that. And I you know what, girls, I'm telling you guys that you deserve that too. You deserve that. You deserve somebody saying, that's the girl. You deserve all the wonderful things. You deserve the flowers. You deserve the back massage. You deserve the foot massage. You deserve random flowers. You deserve the good morning, beautiful. You deserve all of that. So don't ever think that you're not good enough or you're not pretty enough or that nobody's out here, you know, wanting to be with somebody who's broken. Girl, you wrong. Because you got to change your point of view. Your point of view is off. Because you deserve it. Girl, you deserve all the beautiful things. The hell are you talking about? You deserve all that. Like, you deserve the proposal on the beach. You deserve somebody telling you you look beautiful today. You deserve, you know, everything. So don't ever think that you don't deserve it. Because when you think that way, you know, then you lose gratitude. You lose gratefulness. You lose appreciation. You lose all of that. Okay? So don't think that you're not worthy. Because you are. You guys are so worthy. Okay? So don't think that, you know, there ain't nobody going to do that for you. Girl, stop. Girl, stop. If you do your part as a woman and what God intended for us to do, if you keep following that, there will be a guy that will give you everything that you deserve. I promise you guys. I promise you guys, okay? So with that being said, you know, it is so hard, right? Living in synchronicity of the two world, okay? Right? So, lý của hai nè, trở lại your mong do me la lý cả na, okay? It don't matter, okay? Thế don't worry about what your parents say. Do but don't. What I mean is, khơi lời cho lưu rong, mỗi lời cho lưu pay bỏ chay. Okay? So if you understand that part, okay, I always say that to my parents, my parents, they're very, very narcissistic, okay? And thầu lo hai luôn á, cú chưa dùa cho lù dông xin okay? Cái cho lù pay lo hai cho cú nó, cú tí chỉ nó, okay? So thầu lo hai tia, bảo ôi yếu này dông á, okay? Those words cú khờ, họ cho lù pay là khe yếu oan á, cho khờ cho lù pay nè, khờ cho lù dông xin okay? And you have to believe that they try their very hardest, okay? And this is how you guys are gonna make it. The more you guys understand, the more you forgive them, okay? Because the reason why you have to forgive them is for your own self-destruction. So you don't self-destruct, okay? Because when people, especially your family, they belittle, and manipulate you, right? So you get to a point where you self-sabotage, you self-destruct, okay? Do not go there. Do not self-destruct, because you are worthy, okay? You guys are worthy of everything great. Promise you guys. As long as you guys do what's right, as long as you are in your divine calling, it does not matter. Live your life however you want to live your life. You got to think about it. When our parents, they wanted to live their life, they're over here living their life. They move to a whole different state. They're out living their life. All right? They're out here doing it, right? So why can't we? Why can't we? Who's holding you back? You, yourself, is holding yourself back. Okay? So, okay? Remember, guys. Find who you guys are. I am here. I try to make contacts as much as I can, at least once a week, to help you guys with the two different worlds clashing and understanding certain things, letting go, and living your guys' life to the fullest, and find who you guys are. Okay? Throw away what you guys thought you knew. Surrender yourself. And then go find yourself. Transform yourself into the person that you're meant to be. Okay? Guys, I'm here for you guys. I know it's hard. I know that it's hard to get out of the norm, right? To continue dating in your same race. I know we get so bashed for it, especially Hmong women, because our population ain't that much, right? And it's been a battle for me for years. It's been a battle for years. And I finally figured it out, and the reason why I finally figured it out was because of my husband. And and that's why kuti zao le kene. Ye kutu chi zao lu kwa. Gucci zao le kene tiang. So I'm at a place where like I finally am truly happy with myself. And I don't feel some type of way anymore about dating outside my race, having mixed babies, all of that. I don't feel guilty anymore. I don't feel bad anymore because I'm living my life. And you guys don't understand how hard it was from the beginning to do a lot of things, and I was made fun of for simply being me because I didn't I didn't want to be married or tied down to a culture that doesn't resonate with me, you know? So because there's a lot of things that doesn't resonate with me, that in those area, I put God in there. So when I put God in there, it really changed my mindset, like my point of view and my perspective has really been more open. I'm more, not saying that I wasn't open before, but like, I think I understand. I understand why I was feeling that way, because a lot of people, they don't, I don't know about you guys, but for me, there are certain words, right? And when certain words are there, but then you don't know what it looks like, right? So, like micromanaging, you hear the word micromanaging, right? But like, what does it look like? And if you can put an example out there and then put it together, and then you realize, oh, this word means this, because I don't know about you, because I'm a visual learner. And then when I see it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's micromanaging. I know what that means now, And I do that all the time. I do that. And it really helps me to understand, like, oh, this word means this word means that. Like, you guys are doing this and this. So, it's really helped me. I've done a lot of things that have really grown myself to becoming myself. Having firm boundaries really has helped me too. And sorry, this allergies. Oh my gosh, the season and everything's changing, so my nose is running. Sorry guys, my eyes are watering too. But yeah, I hope that this helps you guys, because I know that there's so many of you guys, especially the younger generation, you guys, and having older parents, and they're still stuck in their ways. I know it's really hard. I know it's hard for you guys to get out of it. And my one of my uncle, he was saying, I don't want my kids to go over there to play with these boys because they are white. And I'm like, so what? What if they're white? What are you afraid of? If you're afraid, go over there and go check out what they're doing. I don't know. Go meet their parents. Go see who they are. Go check out who your kids are hanging out with. I don't know. But you can't think like that. They're just seriously just kids too. And then, but that was how we were conditioned. That was how we were conditioned, And I'm not sitting here bashing my uncle, but like, to be more open-minded. What if what if it's your kid? What if it's your kid? There's a lot of things, so you can't sit here and talk like that. It doesn't resonate with me, because kids are gonna be kids, right? Yes. As older kids, like teenagers, yes, you as a parent has to change your tactic. But then, like, 7, 8-year-old, really? Don't talk like that, like, what if lần年了几岁钟呢？要读啦。lần年了几岁去啥哩呢？这有呢？YouTube 把啥路被赔路买来来呢？这了呢？Come on now, don't be like that, please, guys. Net watch tao lên nè, okay? Net watch tao lên nè. Because you net only that's called being a hypocrite, okay? Net watch tao lên nè. So, I'm gonna leave this video on a good note, and I always try to leave my video on a good note, okay? So, like I said, you guys, learn to love yourself, find who you are, and Don't let anybody stand in your way about how you feel and what you want in your life. Because your journey is different from your parents, okay? Your journey is not the same. So, open your mind. Be open-minded, okay? But also, just don't be stupid, okay? Have firm boundaries. Learn who you are. Learn what you like. Learn. Keep learning. It's okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay? But we have to be open-minded too, okay? Okay? Because if we're over here always not allowing our kids to not doing certain things or not helping them in a positive way, it's sometimes our kids would turn bad, So, like I said, okay? It's not 50-50. It's equal percent. 100. Whoever told you that it's 50-50, that the love is 50-50, or that your bills is 50-50, girl, you better run. Because that's not a man. That's a girl. That's feminine energy. Okay? I'll tell you what. My husband, he provides. He provides. Everything. He provides. Okay? A man is supposed to lead, provide, and protect. No matter what race it is, that's what a man should do. And if a man cannot do those things, to lead, provide, and protect, because that's what God said. God said a man should be like that, okay? And as a woman, if we do our job as a woman and what God intended it for us to do, if we play our role right, everything follows. Okay? I know some of these things you guys are not going to understand, which is fine. But, okay? Love yourself. Love whoever you choose to. But be cautious, because a man needs to do those 3 things. And it doesn't matter what race, okay? It doesn't matter what race, okay? It does not matter what race, okay? It's the tradition and the culture that keeps us separated, okay? That's what it is. But to me, there's no separation, okay? I still believe I still love the culture. Some of the tradition I don't do. I don't care to do. I don't care for it. But there are certain things I do still love about it, So I pick and choose. And guess what? I get to pick and choose. Because it's my life. It's my life. I get to pick and choose. And it's your life too. You get to pick and choose. So when you're out here choosing, choose wisely. Choose based on integrity. Do they have integrity? Do they have morals? Ethical? Can he lead, provide, and protect? So, I'm going to leave it here for you guys. I hope you find this message well. I hope that it helps any of you girls out there that you guys are having a hard time with the 2 worlds colliding, okay? I'm here to tell you guys and validate you guys about what you guys already know, okay? So, I'm here for you guys. So, peace, love, and light, guys.